Fire Emblem. Engage.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining me once again on this Fire Emblem Engage Pacifist playthrough. I am very excited to show off today's clear of Chapter 13. The MVP will be Ivy, who has inherited Speed Plus 3 from Lyn, trained to Lucina Bond Rank 4 for the 2 speed boost, and ingested nearly every tonic there is. Pandreo has reclassed to Griffin Knight, and he has B rank stays rather than C rank due to his innate proficiency. Major purchases include Freeze, Silence, and the second and final Rewarp.
All is set.
Fog of War makes its dubious return. Much of the map is already lit up by burning beacons, but Zelkov with a torch makes things especially bright. This is good news for Ivy, who needs to travel 31 squares in 4 turns. She can't canter, so she has to use a couple of rewarp charges to make this happen. Moving Ivy into combat range of the boss brothers will require flying past many enemies. However, enemy density is at its lowest in the middle, where the only obstacles are destructible piles of junk. Tamara and Panette are both good at clearing these out. Alear is one of several units that will make heavy use of Obstruct. She actually has to follow right behind Ivy to offer some support down the line. In the meantime, we need to slip by this first group of 3 enemies. We want to avoid exposing units to multiple enemies, because a pair of attackers could block a unit's progress to both the south and the east. This also makes surviving the enemy phase easier.
Let's pray.
Last chapter, we declined Pandreo's offer to warp us. Here, we happily accept. Zelkov's goal is to bait the bosses in our direction by firing off a 20-range Astrostorm. As a covert unit type, Thieves double the base range of Lyn's engage attack. But even with all that reach, Zelkov requires some help getting to his destination by turn 3. Tusharan serves himself up on a silver platter, while Kagetsu stands ready. Marin, our final newcomer, prepares to take some hits. The destruction of that house is all but scripted. It doesn't bother us, but we do want the rewards offered by the other 2 houses. Up north, the basic sword fighter strikes first. He can't reach Marin, and both Alear and Zelkov have very high avoid, so he attacks Pandreo. On this map, breaking player units is apparently not a priority. The remaining 2 bad guys are manipulated into tame positions in a similar manner. It's a good thing the game clearly tells us that these random items are all clearly worthless. I would hate to vandalize a bunch of priceless possessions like some kind of barbarian. Speaking of people that break stuff, Panette is playing a much more supportive role than what she's used to. She has to spend a turn containing the nearby flyer. Fram could do it with Obstruct, but oh yeah, Fram is here. We really need all the staff utility we can get. Anyway, Fram is busy healing Pandreo in case he needs his HP later. For now, he provides Zelkov with the second warp. Zelkov himself makes his home in the bushes. The poor axe wielder nearby has no hope of hitting him, thanks to covert terrain bonuses. Just like in Chapter 11, Alear will continue to move, obstruct, and then canter. Demons will do the same. These ice blocks ensure that the first enemy group is no longer an issue, as long as we can keep everyone healthy. That's not trivial, but it's not terribly difficult either. Ivy has the last of our 4 Obstruct staves. We've been able to buy 3, and the 4th one was a reward for saving the NPCs in the previous chapter. We are extremely grateful for their gift. Kagetsu is struggling to contain himself. He was happy to help us route Chapter 12, but this whole mercy idea is a bit of a foreign concept to him. He can have a tiny bit of combat as a treat. We bought Kagetsu an Iron Blade so that he won't double and kill the sword fighter. This weapon also has a use in the subsequent map, so I consider it money well spent. It's a shame there's no way to avoid the 5% crit rate though. Our reward for these 2 combats is Kagetsu's first level up. That 5 EXP from Chapter 11 was worth it. This move by Tamara might look strange, since it opens up an avenue for enemies to attack her. In truth, that's the whole point. Diamant is setting up to sneak into the bottom left corner to visit the house and obtain its rescue staff. This will be easier to do if enemies are distracted by Tamara, who takes half damage while engaged with Emblem Ike. The ice block impedes a flyer we can't see yet. Between Marin and Panette, Pandreo pretty reliably has a physic target here. The reason he goes next to Alear, rather than one down and one left, is to avoid being targeted by a longbow sniper lurking out of view. Panette has done her duty, so her only goal now is survival. Before Marin also vacates that area, Fram can cage the sword flyer one more time. If we were to move Marin first, we would lose vision of that square. Guess who did that a lot during practice?
I'm your knight to command.
This nearby house awards us with a Seraph Robe. It also puts Marin in range of a sword flyer on the water, but it would start moving on turn 3 regardless. And if it attacks her, it actually prevents the much more dangerous Wyvern Knights from being able to find an attacking square.
I'll dish it out.
And now, back to the map objective. The ideal spot to take on Techi and Tachi is in a small corridor to the right of the ruined house. Getting there requires flying due east, so Alear and Ivy need to ensure that the path stays open. Once again, we rely on Obstruct. This staff is such a cool tool. Alright, Zelkov. Let's poke the hornet's nest.
Nothing I hate worse than a meddler. You...
By turn 3 enemy phase, we are starting to encounter a lot of combat. Many of the incoming enemies wield axes, so the best way to survive is to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. Zelkov can actually afford to get hit on this turn, since he won't take any damage when he returns to the thicket, with the exception of chain attacks. I should have given him a luck tonic to negate the chance of death by crit. Ivy has to unequip her Bolganon +1 to avoid killing that barbarian, so she doesn't have the 30 avoid from its Lucina engraving. In retrospect, a Sigurd engraved Thunder would have been ideal here, since it cannot double. Ivy's overall odds of survival are good, but they would be much better if that attack went from 23% hit to 3%. Speaking of not doubling, that's what the Silver Lance does for Tamara. It minimizes her chances to crit. Tamara is doing her job well. Enemies don't perceive Ike's damage reduction when they pick targets, but they do perceive the utter lack of avoid. That's pretty handy when someone wants to soak up attacks. We're going to spend a third warp here to toss Diamant past all the angry red units. That's a lot for one chapter, but the rescue staff is well worth it. Diamant and Pandreo both have to steer clear of the longbow sniper, so we set up more terrain to limit his attack range. The bushes are on our side today. There's one more sniper we have to neutralize. Fram's cozy little nook is just close enough for her to stop Pandreo from getting shot at. Kagetsu, stay. Heal. Good boy. Marin and Panette aren't actively doing much, but they are keeping several enemies busy. As long as they keep healing themselves, they'll be fine. We won't be seeing them much in the future, but one of them has a very special job in store for her. Zelkov can now take it easy, but for Alear and Ivy, the party is just getting started. With Staff Mastery 1, the true hit rate of this free staff is about 91%. This keeps the hand axe flyer from suiciding into Ivy, who is about to enter the attack range of one of the bosses. The Lucina engraving reduces Bolganon's weight by 1, so with all of Ivy's speed buffs, she reaches 19 speed. This is the benchmark required to double both Bandit brothers. It also improves her avoid, which is 77 with the Alear C support. Ow! Ivy, you're not supposed to get hit there. What happened to dodge and dodge? Well, that makes things very spooky now, but at least Ivy cleaned up a health bar and got a nice level up. The speed proc adds 2 more void, which we sorely need, and the magic proc brings her to 38 attack. Alear is providing 5 more damage between Spur Attack and Divinely Inspiring, for a total of 43. That's enough to precisely one-round Techi, which is good since Aster Storms are fresh out of stock and Alear is busy. Tachi is much less magically bulky, so he can be one-rounded without Alear's help. We'll fry his first health bar next player phase, and then we'll defeat them both in quick succession on enemy phase. That steel great axe hurts a lot if it hits. In this recording, Alear has a tiny chance of death if she gets hit by 2 attacks, but this is resolved with an HP tonic. And while we're on the subject, I should have given her magic and dex tonics for better staff accuracy. The Staff Mastery 2 skill would have been great as well, but I ended up 46 SP short. Perhaps there's a way to fix that. Okay, turn 5. This chapter has been a project, but we're almost at the finish line. We can take care of the simple stuff first. With Physic, Pandreo can earn his first level up, gaining a point of speed that he will make use of in the next chapter. In retrospect, he could have gone weaponless in this map to avoid any risk of critting the turn 1 sword fighter. Hello, ma'am. Can I convince you to spare a rescue staff in these trying times? Thank you. Kagetsu had a small chance to miss the Swordmaster on turn 2. If he had, he could use the Levin Sword here to reliably claim his level up. Bushigen could then take his sharp objects away. This option is also a method of re-rolling for random numbers if Alear misses with her next staff. The staff in question is Silence, and we are going to direct it at the Elwyn's mage near the bosses. See, in my original clear, Ivy rewarped 1 space further down on turn 4, in order to fight both bosses on that turn. However, this also lets the mage attack, and I had no way to prevent Ivy from killing in retaliation.
I will endure.
The oasis is ours, you hear?
Major shout out to XS, who suggested staying out of mage range on turn 4 and silencing her on turn 5. He also told me about the 5 avoid from the Ivy Alear C support. Technically, we don't fail if we miss. The mage would end up attacking Alear from below Ivy, thus blocking the rest of the 1-range enemies. We would win on turn 6, but I much prefer the cleaner 5-turn victory.
Was it much of a big brother? Was I?
Techi is the first to fall, and Tachi won't be far behind. I ended up getting curious about my odds of success on this map, so I did 3 hours of math and documented what I found in the description. If you want to know things such as how likely Ivy is to survive through every combat, check it out.
Guess I let my brother down. Again.
That's chapter 13 with 2 kills. Nice. Join me next time as we avoid setting a single foot in Solm Palace. Take care, everyone.
Oh.